Good afternoon, people. It's your boy Chris Brown. We are locked in live, and today we have Mr. Martin Funwick. How we doing, Martin?
I'm very well, thank you.
Awesome. So, for those that don't know, Martin is a genius when it comes to using Google, Facebook, and kind of online marketing media for the dental industry, which is pretty cool because Martin has an incredible backstory about kind of his personal struggles. We'll go into that a little bit, but also his own business as well. He achieved massive success in his own business, and in fact, in a couple of businesses that he has, and then decided he would go into the dental industry to help people because he was kind of passionate about helping that after speaking with a friend and seeing their struggles. So, Martin,
Yeah.
before we get started, could you just tell us a little bit about kind of your background, where you're from? And I know you've had some real big challenges in your life, and I would love to know about that.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for that great introduction there. Um, Basically, I'm obviously South African, so as you can hear from my accent, it's a bit different. But yeah, came from South Africa where I sort of grew up extremely poor, and at some point I obviously shared these struggles before at some point, and it got to a point where me and my mom and three of my sisters actually lived in a garage for an extended while, whilst being in school and so forth, and moved around a lot in South Africa, and came to the UK basically to build a new life and build a better life. Actually found out that I was just building the same life here in the UK, so obviously knew something needed to change. And obviously since investing, basically what I did is I invested in people to help me move forward. And obviously since meeting those people in my life and having them in my life, I've managed to drastically turn things around and actually build myself quite comfortable life here in the UK at the moment. So yeah, that's basically part of my backstory. I've had a couple of businesses. One that was obviously operating globally. Pushed that business within the last 3 or 4 years to turning over about just over 300 to just over 50K a month. And quite recently got involved in another fitness business, and we pushed that business from 6,500 a month to right now at the moment it's £24,000 a month. So all within eight months. So yeah, that's basically what I've been up to in the last couple of years.
Awesome, man. It's so good to hear like you struggled to success, like I think a lot of people in England like don't really experience the extremes of poverty, but I know South Africa has economical difficulties and the challenges that you've been through and being able to turn your life around. Isn't it true that you couldn't speak English when you first moved to England as well?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's quite embarrassing. I mean, I went through school. They obviously did teach us some English in school, and when growing up, I was just like, I never need English. Why would I ever need English? And obviously, the decision was a bit rash to obviously come to the UK and change it, but it was a bit ignorant as well because I couldn't even properly speak English. So obviously, having to teach myself the last couple of years on how to speak properly English and how to move from there was quite a journey in itself.
Awesome. I'm known Martin for a couple of years now, and I wouldn't even know that you were never able to speak English. You're like very proficient in how you communicate, and I think it's important that, like anybody that's listening to this, even if you never work with myself or Martin, or you never kind of get to work with us in any capacity, that like just listening to Martin's story and where he's come from and the success he's achieved in his life, like a business that I know was doing 52,000 per month, and also his current business that he invested in and got involved with has gone from 6,500 to 24,000, and that's down to basically the strategies, the tools, the techniques that you have in place, right? And these systems, which we're going to dig into a little bit, and specifically for dentists, kind of these strategies and tools and techniques that you've had have been pretty incredible. So, what do you think, Martin? Like, why do you think most dental practices like don't have an online presence, or why do you think like they struggle with online marketing?
Well, I think it is based on old ways. There's a lot of media out there in terms of the old ways of doing stuff like networking and SEO and print advertising. I think that's being pushed upon dentists at the moment, and they are sort of stuck in these archaic levels of operation. And yeah, just across the whole industry, I think it's become so easy for patients to actually go to dental practices that there's not a lot of value being placed on marketing in itself. So people sort of didn't grow whilst the industry itself was growing, and obviously the game has completely changed at the moment. Whereas most of the people spend time, most of patients, potential patients, obviously spend time on the internet, and the dental industry is waking up to that right now and seeing, whoa, you know what, we've ignored the internet for so long, and we've ignored these processes for so long, that at some point right now they're going to run into deep trouble if obviously they don't act immediately, really.
And I mean, here's the thing that I see from the multiple industries that I work across is like the people who market best win. It's as simple as that. And like, if you're in a local area and a dentist listening right now and you don't have any kind of online campaign or any online marketing going in place, guess what? Somebody is going to have something sometime. And it's always okay until it isn't.
Yeah.
And this is something that everybody has to understand, is that like having your business and doing well in your business and being successful is a great thing. However, being successful and capitalizing upon that success is the key thing. So if you're doing pretty well or you're not doing as well as you'd like you need to get some help with marketing. Like if you don't have an online presence, if you don't have really powerful Facebook ad campaigns and Google ad campaigns and the likes of YouTube, you're going to get left behind. It's only a matter of time before a savvy young kind of dentist turns up in your local area and starts utilizing all of these strategies, which are honestly low cost, you know, like compared to print advertising and radio and sending flyers out and network events and the time that it actually costs you. Like, what is it worth your time to be at a networking event? Like, what is that hour spent in the chair worth to you? You know, and you're going out and you go to these networking events, and most of these people are kind of time wasters. They don't really refer you as much business as you think they will. Yet with like what Martin does and how he does it, what I'm really interested in talking about today is like getting people reaching out to you on a daily basis who are ready to give you money now. I mean, that's pretty interesting, and I'm intrigued to kind of hear a little bit more about how you do that, Martin. So would you like to elaborate?
Yeah, no, it's sure, I will do that. And it's very important. One thing that you obviously said is it takes one young dental dentist to just come into the industry and change the game, because they understand internet marketing just a little bit better, because you know they're obviously from a different generation, and across the whole board it might, you know, the older dentists or the practices that have been around for a long time, they might have been operating for a long time, but it just takes someone who knows how to market it properly to take all of that away from their dental practice, you know. And there's obviously a younger dentist doesn't necessarily mean they have more experience in doing certain procedures, but if you log onto the internet and you read some reviews about this younger dentist and you can see he's got videos up and you already build that relationship with that dentist, you're automatically going to, in your mind, see that person as the authority, and you won't even consider any other dentist for your treatment. So in a whole, what we obviously want to create in terms of how we do our marketing is we want to focus on the bigger picture. A lot of people get stuck on implementation level details, such as like, how do I do a Facebook ad, how do I do a Google ad, how do I do SEO, and that's all implementation level stuff, and that's the things that you have to think down the line. But first of all, what you have to determine is what you want to reach on a strategic level. You know, how do you position yourself as the authority in the area so that people will naturally come to you, and all of your competitors in the local area sort of just get the people that you don't really want to serve. So, you know, we have to start thinking first of all on a strategic level, what message you're putting across there, and creating a celebrity-like status for you in your local area, and that will expand. So what we basically, or what I specialize in doing, is creating that, everything that is involved in creating a celebrity-like local status, positioning you as the only practice that's available, and putting a better message than anybody out there. Whatever that involves, that's what I basically take care of, whether that's Facebook, Google, SEO, I mean, email marketing, whatever you have available or what we can use that means that you get clients. that is what we take care of. And so that's the whole scope of really what we do. And a lot of people obviously get stuck on saying, look, you know what, you need to do Facebook and you need to do Google. You need to do everything, and everything needs to bring you clients in. And if you do something that isn't bringing you clients in, then you're either going to need to rethink your strategy or find a different way, or just leave it out completely. And obviously, with my experience with building businesses, you learn what works at certain stages of your business. I like to think of as a business as a school curriculum. There are certain stages that you have to go through. You won't teach a 12th grader grade 1 stuff, or sometimes you have to, but sometimes you have to go back to basics. But there's different levels where your business is at, and if you can't determine where your business is at, then how do you know what to use within your business? What do you know how to teach your practice manager how to make sales? If they don't even know how to make sales, how are you expecting as the dentist to get sales in? And I just, sometimes I just feel the dental owner just sort of leaves it up to the practice manager, which is funny, because the practice manager in themselves are just the employee, and what the dentist sort of expect from them is to think on an entrepreneur level in terms of, you grow my business, I'll do the teeth, you grow my business. But in an actual fact, that person is just an employee. So these are all of the different nuances that we get within the business, and taking care of all that, in the end, until the patient is in your chair, that's sort of where I specialize and what I take care of.
Absolutely. And the thing is, it's like being a dentist, and like you're the specialist as a dentist, pulling people's teeth and doing the incredible work that you do. It's like trusting somebody else to do that dental work. And that's exactly how it is. But yet people don't see marketing as a profession, and likely because there's a lot of people out there who are, I guess, less than effective at what they do. There are a lot of kind of black hat SEO type people who prey upon this industry. And I think it's really important that we get out there that, people like Martin, who are really trying to change the way that this industry is done, change the way that they communicate their message, change the way that you do, so they can spend their time. High quality dentists like yourself can spend your time with your patients doing what you do best, and not having to worry about your practice manager taking care of all marketing and selling of clients. Like, Martin has the systems and the processes there. In fact, just on that note, Martin, what do you feel like if we were to say this is the result that we can get for dentists, like what is the result that you help people get? I'm really intrigued.
Well, that is a bit of a technical question, but it's easily explainable. So the results that we can get for dentists, depending on the time, we can obviously work with them. So it's easy to work with a dentist over a 3-month period and increase their revenues, let's say, by 10,000. And obviously it depends on what area.
And that's per month, right?
Yeah, that's per month. Like, let's look realistically at this. What are the maths? Is a dental implant client, for example, at a minimum of £2,500, it literally takes 4 clients to make £10,000 every month. Like, if I can't bring you 4 clients, then I shouldn't actually be in this position where I am. So it's literally 4 clients extra a month that you need, and you can have £10,000 extra for revenue in your practice. But if you look over that compounded over a year's time, that's £120,000 extra that you have by just adding 4 clients to your practice every month. And that's obviously high level ticket stuff, and that's what you want to focus off, because you as a dental expert want to do all of these high specialist cases, which makes your value increase even more. So and it means that people with more intense problems and more difficult problems will then seek you out as well, and therefore you can also charge a bit of higher fee. Now obviously I understand dentists aren't really in this industry just solely to just charge higher fees for services if people don't need it. So we obviously come from an ethical point of view, where we only get people in there who obviously need the services. We're not trying to sell them services that they don't need, or anything unethical like that. So obviously we want to get you the clients who will put the most money in your pocket, and you can basically serve them in that way.
Awesome. And what do you feel like is the common challenges, you know, from working with the dentists that you're working with? What do you feel is like the common challenges and frustrations that they have on a daily basis? Like what are the problems they're experiencing? Because I'm sure like a lot of people listening to this right now probably have the similar or same frustrations.
Well, yes. So basically, the number one frustration that I obviously hear from all of the dentists that I speak to on a daily basis is stop getting me people in my chair that don't want to buy a service or who don't want to invest into a service or who don't have money to pay. So it's basically their main frustration is getting people in their chair who don't want to pay money for the service that they are providing and not understanding what the value of the service is. So in a whole, just in marketing in itself, if you are attracting the wrong type of people, you're just going to get frustrated and you're going to sort of lose your motivation for what you're doing because you're dealing with the wrong type of people. So as a whole, I would say that is the number one frustration that dentists all around have.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think most business owners, even if there was anybody else listening outside the dentist industry, could really relate to that as well. But like, why is it that the methods that you use, Martin, like how? Like, I'm intrigued. How do you get people who are ready to give you money? How do you get people who are like not time wasters, for example, sitting in the chair?
Well, we can obviously go into the implementation level or we can go in a strategic level. Your implementation level is obviously understanding where your audience is spending most of their time, what type of people they are. And on a strategic level is understanding, okay, look, what type of person do I want to attract? Who's more likely to buy my product? Who's more likely to be a better client? Who's going to deliver, who can I deliver long-term value over the next 10 years as opposed to just, discounting my services and having them in for one procedure and I never see them again. So it's understanding on that level on who you want to attract, who's going to more likely to buy, where they're spending their time, and and putting all that together into one package really.
Awesome. And I'm sure, like, along the line, you've made a ton of mistakes in your own business. And I mean, you've invested a ton of your own cold, hard cash into learning these strategies, but also invested in mentors, coaches. Like, what would you estimate you've invested in terms of your own ad spend and in mentors and coaches over the last few years since you've kind of been in business?
That is a very big figure. I mean, probably for all of the businesses that I've run, I would say close to £100,000, But you look at a monetary value, I look at it as all the blood, sweat and tears, all of the frustrations I've had, all of the experiences that I had, mistakes that I've made, the time, the commitment, the energy. That's what I've put in the past 5 years just to get to this level where I am right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think people discredit that a lot and they kind of figure we could do this on our own or let's figure it out by ourselves. But the reality is that the majority of people will never get to the level of even get to the point of spend 100,000 because they'll just be flushing money down the drain. Like if you don't have a strategy, you don't have your marketing plan in place, then it's not going to be easy for you to actually implement this type of thing. So kind of finally, before we wrap this up, Martin, I don't want to keep it too long today, but like if there's any dentists that are listening right now that kind of require this help, and I'm sure there are a bunch, like why would it be for them? Like who's the right person this is for? Like what specifically is like your perfect client, the person that you work with,
Yeah. So it's very easy. Obviously, in terms of we want dentists who's got an existing patient base, and we, what I look for is specifically as dentists who are looking for a change, people who want to be part of a comprehensive proprietary solution that will change their marketing and be at the forefront of changing how the whole industry works. For me personally, is I need you as a dentist to basically be turning over around about £30,000 a month, and then at least, and then from there on, you just need to have a willingness to change and be able to be open to new suggestions. And obviously, it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's actually what I specialize in is long-term sustainable growth. I'm here to serve and build a relationship. So the majority of it is how people come across and how the dentists come across as well. The main driving factor really is just to see that, look, they need help. They're in a position they need help, and they want to make a change and they want to grow their practice and have that ambition to be a bit more than just ordinary. You know, obviously what I bring to the table is extraordinary results, and if they want to be extraordinary, they choose me, or basically they continue to operate at ordinary levels, which is, you know, not really who this is for.
Absolutely. And I know, like, in a bunch of industries, I know Martin personally, the stuff he does is tremendous. So if it's any credit, like, reach out to him, you know, or like if you've already had a conversation with him, I can highly recommend him from my point of view. But I want to say this, like, there are different levels of people in life. There are different levels. And I know in the dental industry, I have a good friend of mine who has a dental practice, and he tells me about the people who reach out to him, like the SEO people and all these people who are web guys and techie guys and things like that. But I mean, the difference, I guess, is like, based on what you've just said, Martin, is like you're more strategy, you're more direct marketing, like anything that you do is directly trackable to patients in the seat, right? But not only patients that are ready to give money, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's 100% correct.
And I guess, like, there's different levels of dentists. I know you'll be looking around and there'll be people that are cheaper than you and offer cheaper services, but at the end of the day, like I always say this in my own business, do I want to be the cheapest or the best? And I always want to be the best, and I always want to hire the best people to be around me. So, I mean, shit, it's like, in order to get your level, Martin, I guess 100,000 in ad spend, 3-4 years of blood, sweat, and tears, and countless investments in mentors and coaches in order to get you to get to that level. However, the average kind of dentist that wants to grow their business, wants to have a full-time marketing team, like literally plugged into their business, it's going to be pennies on the dollar compared to that, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. And obviously, what we want to make is a huge impact. I mean, you know, I want to be responsible for positive change, and if I don't make a change, then, you know, there's no reason for me to be around, you know. So the first and foremost thing that I obviously want to do is make a change, not only to your practice, but the more you serve people, the more people we collectively help, which means, you know, it's a huge upside for both of us, because I'm in here to help people, you're in here to help patients, and together we grow something massive, and that makes a big change in itself, you know.
Awesome. So if anybody in my audience is listening who is a dentist running a dental practice anywhere in the world, I guess, then do please listen to Martin. His stuff is incredible. I've had firsthand witness of that. And also, if you are a dentist listening to this who is considering working with Martin, look, like, you'd be crazy not even to take the plunge, honestly. I know, Martin, is there any guarantees on the work that you do, or?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, I obviously offer complete money back, 100%. So the first thing is, I don't get paid if you don't get clients. That's as easy as that is, you know. So I'm not one of these guys who expect you to pay me a monthly fee, and we sit around and we can't directly translate to where the clients are coming from, if there were any clients. So it's basically just solely based on results equals, you know, or performance equals we get paid, sort of type of thing, you know.
Awesome. So, Martin, it's been incredible having you here, sharing your story, learning a little bit more about how you help dentists. I hope that it's been of tremendous value to anybody who's been tuning in and kind of seeing the differences you can make, I guess. And like I said, if there's anything that in the audience, anyone who's kind of related to this, please do reach out to Martin. He's the guy at helping dentists grow their practice in a stress-free way, for sure. So that is it, my friends. Thanks for tuning in again. Martin, thank you for being part of this. It's been a pleasure, and I'm sure my audience will love listening to this. So is there anything you would like to say?
Yes, thank you for having me, and yeah, go do it.
Awesome. Take care, people. Bye-bye.